Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despised thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. The Lord shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land for the work of that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Haoshai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful Lake out there pushing his word and truth and his sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Haoshai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful Lake, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Haoshai. All right, what I want to get into, is going into the cup of abominations, dealing with Revelation 17:4. All right, because as we know, all right, dealing with the IUIC, all right, you have this guy, commanding, General Nathaniel Oligai, all right, or known as Bishop Nate, okay, of IUIC, and pretty much he tries to associate Revelation 17:4, okay, with the MOTB to try to, hold on to the stance that they have over at IUIC that the MOTB is sin, okay, which absolutely makes no sense, and they, anyone that says that the MOTB is sin, They have yet to do a thorough breakdown on how you're going to buy and sell with sin. Okay, because if you don't have the MOTB, you are not allowed to buy and sell. Okay, so how would they regulate sin as a currency? Okay, and you'll never get that breakdown from any of these groups that say that sin is the MOTB. All right, and what's happening is they're being questioned. These different camps these different Jakes and Israelites that's window shopping and looking at different camps. Okay, they're being questioned, and then you have the elect amongst IUIC. They're beginning to question these things because it's only so long that you can be a false prophet. See, you can't be a false prophet while the actual prophecy is happening. You see, it don't work. You can't be a false prophet while the actual prophecy is happening. Okay, and he's steady trying to save face, with the sin being the MOTB, and he's looking worse and worse, man. Okay, that's why when you go here, let's see, let's get that. All right, this is the book of Second Timothy. I'll start here. 2 Timothy 2:15. It says, "Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High." And see, these antics and gimmicks only work on those that are simple. Okay, those whom the Lord hasn't put the Spirit, all right, to be prudent in His Word, man. Okay, and that's why the apostles and elders, they always tell us, they don't just tell us things and leave it at that, man. Okay, they always tell us to search these things out ourselves, man, to look into these things ourselves, man. Okay, so there's a lot of Jakes that just excited to know that they're Israelites, and they really don't become studious in the Word, so you're able to tell them anything, man. Because Jake don't know, Jake don't care. Okay, and Jake, is more in love, with these Hebrew personalities than what the Word says, man. Okay, and that's why scriptures tell us to do what? Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay, and this is what we're commanded to do, rightly dividing the word of truth, man. Okay, and this is what we're going to get into, man. Line for line, precept on precept, man. Okay, giving the understanding of these things, man. Because if you don't have any understanding of something, all right, you're at the mercy, okay, of everyone else, man. All right. If we walked into the room, if all of us walked into a room of nuclear physics, okay, well, we will be at the mercy of whatever they tell us, man, because we don't know anything. Speaking for myself, we don't know, anything about nuclear physics. Okay. So how, we at the mercy of whatever they tell us, man. Okay. But if we, or if we were well, versed at nuclear physics, they couldn't just tell us anything, man. And I'm just giving that analogy, and that's how Jake is with the word, man. Jake, really don't even touch the Bible like that. Jake, Jake over there just showing up to the gatherings, the picnics, the rap videos, okay, the dance offs, the fashion shows, okay. Jake not really into the scriptures like that, man. Okay, and if they are, all right, they're being coerced, okay, into these off breakdowns, man, and just being a parrot from what's being taught up top, man. Okay, so let's get into. All right, I got a few videos, and we're gonna go into it. So, I just plan on trying to making this concise, hitting the point. So let's go to Revelation. All right, 17. Okay, what is this speaking of? All right, Revelation 17. Okay. Well, in fact, I started. It's Revelation 17:1. It says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore." Okay, so the subject Okay. The subject is who? The great whore, which is America. Okay. This chapter, it goes into the beast. All right. But then it put emphasis on the whore that rides the beast, which is America. Okay, said, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. All right, and it's going to break it down later in the chapter. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Now, it said the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Okay? And what is this speaking of? What is this wine? All right, speaking of, man, it's talking about the philosophies and the ways. This has nothing to do with the actual, all right, mark. This has nothing to do with the actual MOTB. Okay? This is the idea behind the image of the beast. But it's not, all right, the mark that's going to control buying and selling. Okay? Because when you go here to wine, all right, let's get this word wine. All right. Let me see. No, this one I ain't want to get that. So wine, it says fiery wine of the Most High's wrath. I want to get oh yeah, drunk. Okay, I want to get drunk. Hmm. I think it's in the Old Testament. I want to get that word drunken. Okay, so let's read this one. They're gonna get some precepts in the Old Testament. They word wine is gonna be in the Old Testament. Revelation 17. I mean the word drunk. The definition of one gonna be in the Old Testament. Revelation 17:2. With whom the kings of the earth, all right, the leaders of these other nations and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Now, when you go here, okay. Come on, man, get slow today. Get that in Isaiah. Those one. And Isaiah 29. Let's get this in Isaiah 29. All right, and 9. It says, stay yourselves and wonder. Okay, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. So what are they drunken with? If they're not drunken with wine, okay, what are they drunken with? And this is talking about Jake. Okay, because hey, we was guilty of being drunken. Okay, on the wine of Babylon. Okay, the philosophy, the way, the ideologies of Babylon. Okay, and it says to be or become drunken, to be intoxicated. Okay, to saturate with a stimulating drink. Okay, influence. You see that? Influence. All right. America has been the biggest influence in the earth, man. And it has influenced the earth in what? Wickedness. You see? America has the whole earth under the influence, man. Okay? It says, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. So let's get that again, which it says the same thing, And Jake say we repetitive. Well, the Bible repetitive, man. Okay, because it says right there, Isaiah 29:9. All right, but it's gonna say it again. I'm gonna say Isaiah. Um, yep. And this is speaking of Jake. Is Isaiah 51:22 said, therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, okay, but not with wine. Okay. This speaking of our people, they're drunken, but not with wine. So this cup that is in the hand of this whore is speaking about influence, man. Okay, and America influenced the earth in complete abomination, man. Okay, now when you go back to Revelation, 17:3, it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and this represents, okay, Esau's power structures, man. They have dominated the earth. Okay, and this current power structure of the NATO and the EU. Okay, you go into those 7 heads, Germania Major, Germania Minor, all right, France, all right, the Britons, the Romans, the Greece, all right, the Greeks, and the Spanish, man. Okay, and those 10 horns represents those old 10 vassals to the ancient Roman Empire. Then you have these 10 horns of today, which represents the EU. Okay, which EU, the military branch of the EU, is what? The NATO. Okay, in America, man. All right, in America is the whore that rides this beast. Okay, America has the most influence of this beast system. You see, the world, all right, is pretty much modeled after America. And we're gonna prove that, man. All right. So when you get here, it goes into the whore that rides this beast, man. We're gonna go to the whore that rides this modern day beast of the EU, all right, and NATO. Okay, America itself spends 70. It's responsible 70% of NATO's military spending, man. Okay, so let's read verse 4, and this the one, verses 4 and 5 is what Nate tried to merge with the mark, but it has nothing to do with it, man. He's winging it. Okay, the guy's winging it, man, trying to make it make sense, man. All right, Revelation 17:4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Okay, decked out. She had an appearance. She had a particular appearance about herself, man. Like America. When these nations see America on TV, they see America as being decked out, man. They see these skylines, they see these cities, they see the architecture, the infrastructure. Okay, America is like a woman that's decked out, man. Okay, because the pearls and different things, the gold. Okay, America's looks like a decked out woman to these nations, man. Okay, that's why these nations, you had that great migration. Nations coming over here, and people leaving everything and coming over here to America. Okay, like a man would pursue a woman that he was extremely attracted to, man. Okay, it says having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Okay, and that golden cup full of abominations is the influence of wickedness that America has in the earth, man. Now let's go from there, and I want to play a few video. Matter of fact, before I get that, this is what I meant to get from. That's the definition I was looking for at the beginning. All right, because you get to fornication, okay, which when you go into the Greek think it's porneia. Okay. All right. This is what I was looking for from the beginning. It wasn't drunken wine. This is what I was looking for. All right. So it's porneia. Okay. Now it says adultery. All right. Pretty much just the LB. All right. It's the alphabet section of the definition of adultery, fornication. Okay. Moles, lesbianism, intercourse with animals. Does not all these things go on in America? Okay. Just lewdness, man. But you go here in the spirit, okay? Because America just freak nasty. It has turned, these nations out. But you go here, it said metaphorically, the worship of idols, of the defilement of idolatry is incurred by eating and sacrifice. All right, eating the sacrifices offered to idols. Okay, and America has the earth. All right, because America is ran by who? These elites, the modern day Chaldeans, man, and they pretty much taught these nations, okay, their ideology, their idolatry. This new world order is these nations coming under the idolatry of these devils, man. Okay, which these nations, these heathens are already into, pagan worship and different idols, but they've come under the ideology, okay, of America, man, which is pure Satanism, man. We're going to show you, okay, through culture, all right, through economics, okay, through industrialism, okay. So let's get this, all right. Yep. And this the brother GMS Spiritual Art 144K, Jeremiah 41:7. Babylon have been the golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. All right. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, all right, the nations are mad. Okay. So these nations have drunken down the influence. Okay. Because what does wine do? It puts you in a certain spirit, it puts you under influence. Okay. Of something foreign. All right. Something has entered into you and now has influenced you, man. And this is what America does around the globe. Now, let's get a couple of videos to show that. Okay? Because you go to the feminist movement, all right, which you go back to the 1850s, what they call women's suffrage. Okay, and guess who funded it? The Rothschild, man. Okay, they funded that whole women's suffrage, going back to Susan B. Anthony. Okay, and at the same time they did women's suffrage, they brought about the abolitionists, which was the so-called the fight to free the slaves. Okay, which really was nothing but to get Jake, moved into these cities for industrial, okay, labor. You see, but then in the 60s, they came with the same 1-2 punch with the women's movement, all right, with Gloria Steinem, which was a CIA operative, okay, because how the CIA breaks down these nations, they break down the culture first, okay, and the things that they do in America, they take it abroad to break down the cultures, because once he can cause disorder in the household, he pretty much is easily to have mass control over a nation. Okay, when there's dysfunction in that nation, man. Okay, so this is what the devil does, man. Causes dysfunction throughout the earth for more control of the earth. Okay, now you go to the let's see, feminist movement, and this is all part of the cup of abomination, because it's all a rebellion against the Most High. All right, so let's go here.
Whatever your business needs, this features the cap, even a logo that you can put on all that. Because with Vistaprint, the printabilities are endless. New customers get 25% off at Vistaprint.com.
Let's see. So I'm gonna play this, okay? And hold on. So I'm gonna play this, and just gonna go to the global feminists, okay? We just say America spearheaded, this feminist movement in this part of what's in the cup of abominations, man, because this is a rebellion against the natural order that the Most High established in the earth, man, between man and woman. The scriptures tell you, the way between the man and his maid, who can know? Okay, Esau was not supposed to be, all right, in everyone's relationship, telling them the order, okay, that the relationship and marriages should be in, man. He was off. And this is part of the abomination that he spread. So we're gonna go deal with this one first. Okay, so let's let this play.
Because it's not enough of us to go, oh, how we represented. It's just, well, at least we're being represented. I haven't got to that point yet.
A lot of people think that there is no feminist movement whatsoever in China.
I get very annoyed often when people talk about India, because it's this funny bind where somebody in America will talk about how oppressed Indian women are and how terrible it is. And everything they're saying is true, but it's only part of the truth.
What people normally get wrong, I think, about the feminist movement in Germany is that it's without a sense of humor or irony.
God damn. Oh boy.
But then that's what they always get wrong about Germans in general, not just about the feminist movement in Germany.
So I guess the things that I think that people get wrong about Indigenous culture and being a young Indigenous woman is that, number one, we're all alike, and that kind of plays into both the race and gender narrative of us being, a culture of people that are kind of frozen in history, and because we don't see a lot of Indigenous people represented in modern day media and contemporary stories and whatnot, we become kind of mystified, and because of that, it's really hard for people to see us in a modern day context.
They don't see Indian women for everything that they are. Yes, we have tough times and bad things happen, but Indian women, for my money, are the toughest women I've ever met. We're completely resilient. We have always been feminists. We have always fought, always banded together. And people don't see that.
The movement that I write about in Betraying Big Brother is very new. This young group of women who are really independently organizing around feminism, independent of the Communist Party. And so it's a new phenomenon. A lot of people are surprised that they exist.
I just seen an Indigenous person in the media. I'm like, oh my God, like before me and my girlfriend, we just up in the hotel room and we saw like the ad, like some Telstra ad, and there was an Aboriginal guy in the background. And I was like, yo, we like paused it. It was this huge big deal.
Key for our feminist movement is that we do not fall into the trap of being instrumentalized by Islamophobic, racist movements who want to claim, a feminist agenda only for racist purposes. So I think that is at the moment, that is what is key, what we have to fight for to make sure that there can be a feminist movement that does include, Muslim perspectives and does include Muslim feminist perspectives. So I think that's important.
So you see, all right, Esau has made this a global thing, and it's pretty much just rebellion against order, and it causes dysfunction, man. Okay, this feminist movement, is global, but it's a part of the cup of the abomination that's in the hand of the whore, man. Okay, they ride the beast. Now let's go from there. Okay. Let's get this one. Uh,
Popular culture is amazing.
so now he's going to speak on what's known as American pop culture. Okay, and it's really, influenced through movies, media, and music. Okay, and he's going to go to how American pop culture, dominates the earth. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play. It's short too. Yeah, I think it's about 5 minutes. It's pretty short. So
American popular culture is amazing. You're probably watching this on a computer that you also use to watch videos and movies and TV shows, and I bet some of them come from the United States. In fact, in many cases, they all come from the United States. American popular culture is the single biggest export that the US has. In an era when it no longer dominates the world market for products like steel or cars or even computers themselves, the computers are playing American popular culture.
just to get a gist of what he's saying, America does not, export, raw materials. They're not leading in any exports of actual raw materials like steel, you know, different products. Okay. America exports its culture. That's the number one export in America is its culture. Okay. American cars are not being exported. You know, more foreign cars are being imported over here. America mainly receives import or raw material, but it exports its culture. Okay. Remember, that wine goes into what? That influence. All right. So he's going into the exportation of American culture. This is the wine. All right. Let's read this again. And if a brother could put that Revelation 17:4 up there too, so we can just refer back to it as well. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. Okay. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, because these nations are in a decaying state behind taking down the wine, the ways, the culture, the abomination, the filth of America, man. Okay, which ruins families, which ruins nations, which ruins economies. You see, which creates violence. You see. So let's go back here. It's the brother beyond Yasha Allah. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Okay. Having a golden cup in her hand full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Okay. And this is what we seeing exported because through American popular culture, especially the music and movies, what's pushed? Alphabet agendas, feminist agendas. Every movie or TV show you watch, there's always an alphabet, couple in the movie that has nothing to do with the narrative of the movie. He makes sure he has this 2 minute, 3 minute intimate scene for the alphabet community in each TV show you watch. Okay, he makes sure that there's one feminist, okay, that's a main character in every show. And then with the rap culture, he pushes nothing but degenerate, alphabet community, just hot girl summer, just a cup of filth, man. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play. Then brother can get that too, and think Habakkuk 2 and 15. Let's get Nahum 3 and 4. You know,
Or uh, cars, or even computers themselves. The computers are playing American popular culture. The televisions are playing American popular culture. People are driving in cars, listening to American music. So, how did this come to be? In many ways, we'll see that this is a recent phenomenon, historically speaking. It's a phenomenon of the years after World War II, and it's a phenomenon that has helped to shape the post war world in some very important ways. I'm going to give you three reasons that I think explain part of why American popular culture emerges with such force and becomes so popular on the world market of culture, if you will, in the 20th century. Three reasons that go back to the ways that popular culture in the United States actually evolves and evolves out of the specific history of the United States. The first is the longstanding presence of African Americans in the United States. And uh, we could talk about the differences between West African cultures and Western European cultures. And that's certainly, no doubt, part of the equation there as well. But I think the most important factor that explains the disproportionate contribution of African Americans and of African American ideas and practices to the broader American culture is simply this. For hundreds of years, the only way that most African Americans could actually say what they thought and do something that accentuated themselves and established themselves as an individual was to say something that was so new and so innovative that enslavers and other whites really had no idea what they were saying. And yet, at the same time, these practices are very attractive to whites, and whites try to imitate African American singing, African American dancing, African American storytelling, and ultimately other forms of African American art. But by the late 19th century, that practice of whites imitating and commercializing what African Americans do in their artistic and other sorts of practices is fully there. It's fully embedded in American culture. That's going to be
so the fact, you know, that America had, you know, the bulk of Israelites in captivity, you know, they capitalized off, you know, Jake, you know, what they call soul music, you know, all these different, you know, early artists, you know, your Howlin' Wolves, and, you know, especially down here in the South, you know, a lot of them blues, you know, you go to Memphis, you know, Beale Street, you know, because you own Memphis on Beale Street, you know, close to where the brothers bring it out at, you know, you had in the 60s, man, you know, 50s, man, where you would have on Beale Street at any given night on Beale Street, man, you might have, you know, Little Richard, you know, BB King there, Aretha Franklin, Elvis. You know, they were just a normal night on Beale Street in Memphis, man. And what did America do? They exploited that, man. And then they would get, you know, different Edomite artists to kind of mimic, you know, Jake, you know, and it became popular music, okay, in the earth, man. That's how the Beatles, you know, was able to come over here, become stars, and, you know, go on world tours, because this is American artists that go on world tours, man. Okay, you don't see a lot of artists from France, okay, coming over here and making headlines, man. Okay, but you can take a Chris Brown, okay, you know, you can take a Chris Brown and put him on a world tour. You can take a Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, and put him on a world tour. Okay, and what does that do? That takes American culture and it influences the earth, man. Now you have teenagers in Japan wanting to be like Chris Brown, wanting to be like, okay, a Nicki Minaj, man. Okay, so I'm gonna let it play on.
be very important as we go forward into the 20th century because Americans in general, white and black, are going to export that African American culture and those innovative practices to the rest of the world. The second thing that matters is simply this: in contrast to most Western European countries, which had state religions that helped to establish, along with the state itself, a sort of high cultural ideal for what was what it was to be German, or what it was to be French, or what it was to be English. In the United States, there's no state religion. In fact, in many of the colonies, most notably Pennsylvania, before the Revolution, so before the First Amendment in the Constitution, which mandates the separation of church and state, there's essentially a broad set of practices of religious diversity. There's a free marketplace of religious ideas, and thus that helps to create an ideal of a free marketplace of cultural practices.
Showing that this is Babylon, Babal, the land of confusion. Because you would have these other nations, and they would have, the whole, like, you go to Iran. Well, Iran as a nation, they all are Islamic. Okay. You go to Saudi Arabia, they all are Islamic. You got different sects, Sunni and Shiite, but they're all under the banner of Islamic. They have these state-ran religions. Well, America was just come do as thou wilt. Okay, and witchcraft was, this just was a place. This America was a perfect place for the elites to practice witchcraft. Okay, that's why this is known as what? The excellency of the Chaldeans. I believe it's in Isaiah 13. If a brother can post that as well, I'm playing these videos. I'm gonna get, brothers' precepts. But I believe it's in Isaiah 13, maybe 17, 19, around there. Where the scriptures refer to America as the excellency of the Chaldeans, which this was the perfect place. The elites could just, do rituals and witchcraft, because it's a culture it has no structure. Okay, everybody's pretty much doing their own thing. So this was a population of people that was easy to influence. Okay, and the elites made that into a brand, a culture, and they spread their culture throughout the earth, man. They spread this dysfunction throughout the earth, man, under witchcraft. Okay?
A free marketplace of deciding what's right and wrong to do. And there will be people throughout the 19th century and beyond who try to say, this is American culture and nothing else is. And this is what should be taught in schools. But those people inevitably fail. The dynamic is already there that's going to undermine them and support innovation. It's going to argue for this marketplace of cultural ideas. There's one more thing that's important, and that is the long history of mass immigration to the United States. The African slave trade, of course, but going beyond that into the late 19th century in particular, where we see the mass migration of Southern and Eastern Europeans to the industrial cities of the Northeast and Midwest. Jammed into the slums and tenements together, what they find is the ability to find common ground, often in American popular culture, especially in the commodified form of new media that is starting to emerge in the early 1900s. The new kinds of musical recording are important here, but what's also very important is the emergence of movies, silent movies, of course, but movies that have to find a way to communicate to these very diverse audiences, that have to find a way to communicate without a common language or a common cultural history, that have to instead find ways to evoke very quickly, very visually, through gestures and dress and all kinds of techniques like that, a human connection between the person on the screen and the very different groups of people in the audience. And the ability of American film to very quickly connect with people who don't even necessarily speak English is something that's going to be a powerful cultural force. And that's going to bleed out as a set of techniques into other kinds of popular culture that emanate from the United States. And it's going to be very important over the course of the 20th century.
You can't buy love or happiness, but you can invest in it with T. Rowe Price.
Zaxby's new chicken bacon ranch loaded fries. You're gonna need a forklift.
Hi everyone. In today's video lecture, we're gonna do two things. Pornography this way. I know it when I
So you have that. Okay. Pop culture. Now something else I want to go. I'll go to this. Let's see. Oh yeah, play this real quick. So this is the top nations with the most alphabet, populations, man. And just see how America has influenced the world. Okay, and pure wickedness, man.
I'm not faced, don't hear the sin. If you rain in your garden, you know that you can. Call me when you want, call me when you need. Call me in the morning, I'll be on the way. Call me when you want, call me when you need. Call me out by your sin. I'm not faced, don't hear the sin. If you
And America, it's just constantly turning, these nations out, man. I believe it might be in it. Let me see. Oh yeah, I want to show this too. I want to show this. Hopefully, it'll let me play this little piece I want to show.
中国发展的同时，他们自己也能。
So this is when America. Now China had a leader, called Deng Xiaoping, and he pretty much was the one that merged China's government with the American government, and that's what has China modernized today. Okay, but just outlook, we see, before, okay, the American influence, and now we look at China now. Okay, it took that cup. Okay, so this is just a quick clip. Hopefully, it'll let me play. I know last time I tried to go into this whole documentary, dealing with Moab, and brothers can post that as well. I think that's the second Esdras, woe to thee, thou Asia, how China has made themselves likened unto America, because China is the most drunk out of all the nations. China is the most drunk, okay, off the American influence, man. Okay. Let me try to play this little clip. So he's gonna go into it, they're gonna go into it a little bit. I think about 2 minutes. I think I just need like a 2-minute segment out of this, to prove the point, So the screen cut off because last time, sometimes some algorithms will pick up the documentary, certain documentaries, and it'll end the screen, but once I click out of it, it'll come back on. So the screen ends, just sit tight for a couple of seconds and I go out of it, and it'll come back on.
Deng himself now went on a mission to Singapore and Japan.
Deng was one of the few communist leaders in China who was.
Thank you for taking the next step in becoming a Cooler Ice vending machine owner. If you have thought about what a second income would mean,
exposed to the outside world. He spent almost 6 years in France as a part work, part study student. So this kind of international outlook helped him.
In Japan, Deng understood the extent of China's backwardness.
新干线列车当年是210公里的时速，而中国的列车时速是60公里。
So what you're gonna see is Japan had drunk of the cup of America before China. So when Deng Xiaoping, the guy in the black and all black, the little short motorbike, he's okay. He's gonna go to Japan and see how they're living, and that's gonna entice him to take of that cup, okay, drink of that cup of America, man. Okay, remember that woman was decked in pearls and you see, very enticing, man. Okay, so I say he's gonna go into it. When they seen how Japan was living, you're gonna see, Amen. They're gonna be already in suits and ties. While Moab is still in kind of, the tunics, the ancient garbs, the more traditional garbs of their region. Okay, well, Amen gonna be in full suits and ties, man. He drunk that cup. Okay.
反差如此之大，可想而知邓小平受到了什么样的刺激。
He saw modern robots in the factory making cars. He saw the most modern steel plant in the world at that time. He talked to Matsushita, who the great electronics man, and he could see the extraordinary technology. And he was excited like a little kid in seeing all those things. He saw the modern robots in the factory making cars. He saw the most modern steel plant in the world at that time. He talked to Matsushita, who the great electronics man.
Okay, so you see, all right, Amen over here to the left. He's already suit and tie and glasses. All right, head slicked back like the Edomite. Okay, and then you have, this Moabite Deng Xiaoping. He's pretty much, still in kind of ancient, garbs. Okay, the tunic type style. All right, Amen, I'm fully drunk of the cup, so he like, look, nigga, we on. Okay, like y'all, y'all on that old, y'all in the past, like, nah, we done linked up with America, we on. Okay, they've committed fornication with the whore. Okay, industrially, politically, okay, spiritually, economically, they're in bed with the whore. So now he's putting Moab on, like, so you gotta catch up, my boy. But it's all prophecy for these nations to follow, okay, and drink of their cup, man, of the whore, okay?
And he could see the extraordinary technology. And he was excited like a little kid in seeing all those things.
Deng wanted the Chinese people to see for themselves how others lived.
He asked specifically the Central Television crew to film people's life. He said, please focus on how ordinary people in Japan lived, in Singapore lived. It's an eye-opening for Chinese at that time. When the Chinese saw through the television, Japanese workers have refrigerators at home. It's awakening. It's a shock.
So yeah, man, like Esau, he came and wooed, these heathens, man, with technology, with convenience, okay, and pretty much got them to, drink of that cup, man. Okay, as you can see. Let's get this here. This is the brother you call Hopeful Elect 144. This Nahum 3 and 4. It said, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, these nations favored America. They admired America. America was decked out to these nations, man. Okay? The mistress of witchcraft, and mistress is the female way of saying master, the feminine way of saying master, because Esau has mastered the witchcraft for these ancient heathens, man. And he has the technology, which is witchcraft within itself, Okay, it said the sale of nations through her whoredoms. Okay, and these nations have pretty much sold out their traditional way, okay, and follow America fully into rebellion, man. Because why? They got benefits from it economically, okay, politically. They got benefits from it industrially, you see, and families through her witchcraft, okay. Now you know the whore that rideth on the on the beast has nothing to do with the actual MOTB. Now the American influence is leading these nations to taking the mark, the actual MOTB. Okay, that C-hip, that device, but the woman that ride the whore didn't have the MOTB in her forehead or in her hand. Okay, no, that woman had the influence, okay, of the earth. You see? All right. Let's go here. Let's get yep, brother got it. This is GMS Spiritual Arc 144, Isaiah 13 and 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. You see how these nations was in awe of the American way? Okay, America turned Japan out, and then Japan turned out, you know, Moab. Okay, they was in awe. They're like, damn, the workers in Japan got refrigerators. So how you think they were looking at people in America that had, you know, cars and grocery stores and fast food restaurants and bars, and you know, they were looking like, damn, you know? It says the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's part of the fifth that's in America, the same fifth that was in Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's part of the fifth that's in their cup. Okay, but the elite America has pretty much been the golden child of the elites and leading these nations into wickedness, man. Okay, and rebellion. Okay, let's get this. This is GMS Spiritual Arc 144, 2nd Ezra 15:47. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. Okay, and it's speaking of Asia, which you know, China, and also Ammon too. You see Ammon, okay, influence, but mainly, you know, that continent over in Asia. You see India is heavily influenced by America, but Moab is at the forefront. It says, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and thou hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Okay? And America desired, all right, to commit whoredom with Moab, man. That's why Moab is at the forefront of the NWO. Okay, that's why they're even ahead when it comes to, you know, digital identification and social credit systems. Okay, cameras everywhere. Okay, 2nd Ezra 15 and 48, because pretty much Moab has become the model of the global new world order, man. Okay, it said, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore, said the Most High. And Moab has fully, you know, followed America and drunken down their cup. Okay, verse 49, it says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Yeah, because in World War III, China gonna get touched up as well, man. It ain't gonna be completely destroyed as America, okay? But they ain't gonna get touched up, man. Okay, yep, as the brother put, it's the brother with Yon Yashala, Jeremiah 48:28. It says, "Oh, ye that dwell in Moab, leave the cities and dwell in the rock, and be like the dove that maketh her nest in the sides of the hole's mouth." Okay, we have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceeding proud. And what did he get there from? And that's another thing that's in the cup of the whore is pride, man. Everyone's so goddamn proud in their wickedness, man. Okay? It says his loftiness and his arrogancy and his pride and the haughtiness, all right, of his heart, all right, which is his mind. Okay, and Moab has, because you know when people get drunk, they get a little more bolder. Okay, you know how people do, they get, you know, they get drunk. All right, they get a little bold, man. Okay, and then what you see, these nations are being bold towards Yahweh Bashem Al Shai by drunk, all right, off the Babylonian wine. Okay, a lot of men have, you know, a lot of people have went home with lumped up heads, drunk, you know, talking shit, man. Okay, these nations finna get lumped up with they drunk, you know, off the wine of Babylon, man. Okay, now I want to go back to Revelation 17 and kind of end it here, you know, which the angel is going to break this down to John. Okay, like Elder Apostle Har said, the judgment of the whore to be burnt with fire. So all these nations, because the scriptures say the whole earth is going to take, you know, is going to be tried with the sea hill, both rich and poor. All right, free and bond. All these nations are going to partake in the sea hill. All the nations are going to be burnt with fire. Okay. Now this Revelation 17:5 said, upon her forehead was written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now let's get this word mother, which is matar. Okay. Matar in the Greek. And what does it go into? All right, matar, metaphorically, the source of something, the motherland. Okay, the motherland of wickedness, the motherland of all the filth that we see in the earth is here in America, man. Okay. This is Revelation 17:6, and it says, and I saw the woman, this is John the Revelator, drunken with the blood of the saints, which are the Israelites. Okay. This the middle passage, you know, the transporting the slaves and what they did to the so-called natives. Okay, Gad and Reuben, man. Also, you know, you know, so-called Issachar that was, you know, deeply in Texas, was modern day Texas, man. Okay. It says, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua, you know, which that's to come, for those that have their lot, you know, lay down, you know, their life for the testimony of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So even John, he's seeing this woman, because he's seeing the actual woman, and he marveled with great admiration. Okay, and you know that woman was enticing. Okay, now verse 7, it says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carried her, which have 7 heads and 10 horns. So now, as he goes into the breakdown, all right, I wanna I read on down. All right, this is verse 8. Okay, it says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, all right, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, going into the time of the Renaissance. Okay, because the pagan Roman Empire fell. All right, and then it came back. Okay, and it says, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast was and is not and yet is. Okay, because that pagan Roman Empire was, then it was not, but then it came back. Okay, the deadly wound was healed. Okay. All right. And America is the whore that rides this beast. And here's the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, going back to those different, all right, governments of Esau, Edom. Okay, the French, the Spanish, Germania Major, Germania Minor, the Britons, the Greeks, and the Romans. Okay, on which the woman sitteth. Okay, and there are 7 and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, okay, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come, and when it cometh, he must continue a short space, which is speaking of Britain, okay, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, which is America, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition, because America came out of Great Britain. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings going into those vassals. And right now, these EU nations are likened unto vassals, okay, unto this beast system, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings, all right, 1 hour with the beast, okay? That's why you have the EU, you know, the UN, United, you know, nations, okay? Because they receive perks and benefits. And you look at Edomite colonization, you know, the earth is carved up, you know, between, you know, America and these different EU nations, man, mainly French, all right, Britain and Spain, okay, Portugal, you know. So go here, it says, these shall make war with the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they are with him are called chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay? Now, isn't America full of multiple nations? And don't America influence multiple nations abroad? So America has that influence. If someone is riding a horse, the person riding the horse, okay, which is like riding a beast, a horse is like a beast. Doesn't that person tell the horse when to go, when to stop, okay, when to speed up? That person is on the horse has the influence, man. Okay, and that's been the position America has been in. All right, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, which we're seeing now, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, the nukes, man. Verse 17. Those EU nations are going to nuke America, man. Okay, so if going by the doctrine of Nate, if the woman had, you know, the mark, all right, of sin, you know, so see, the mark is sin, and the woman had the mark in her forehead and her hand, okay, aren't the other nations are going to take the mark? So they're not going to partake in the judgment. Okay, no, man, this judgment is isolated for America, because America has been the wicked influence in the earth, man, the motherland of wickedness. That's why it's going to be a desert and never inhabited again, man, because it's so filthy, man. Okay, America is so filthy it can't even exist in our kingdom, man. Okay, this is what this is talking about, man. This isn't the, all right, MOTB, man. Okay, Revelation 17:4 has nothing to do with the actual, okay, mark, man. The actual seal, the actual device that's going to control buying and selling. Okay, it's like I say, it's the influence that's pushing these nations, okay, to accept it, but it's not that, man. Okay, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, for the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High be fulfilled. Okay, Jake tripping. You see, Jake tripping, man. All right, Nate, you know, you wrong. You broke that down completely wrong, man. Okay, it is what it is, and we're gonna keep bringing these things out, man, because at the end of the day, truth gonna stand beyond the madness, man. Okay, truth gonna stand beyond the madness, man. It's only so long for a false prophet, all right, until he run out of material, man, because you can't be a false prophet when the prophecy is happening in real time. Okay, it don't work. All right, so Lord will, you know, you brothers and you few sisters edified once again, and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations, hopefully, Shalom.